Very good. Hey everybody, it's me and Hatch and Lainey, and they are going to help me do our lines and angles lesson today. So I've got my little chart here to look at, okay? And if you look, I'll attach the chart. So today we're going to talk about geometric figures. Quit, Hatch. And in order to understand shapes, we need to understand what kind of lines and angles they're made up of, okay? So the first thing we're going to talk about is a point. So if you have something, you can just draw a point. Y'all draw a point. Show them your point. So sometimes we just see a point like this, or we might see a point with a letter beside it, like this is point A. We see points when we do coordinate grids. Okay, so we've talked a lot about points. But a point is an exact location, okay? So in this way, we could say the exact location would be 1, 4 for this one, and we've talked about that already. But the thing to remember is that a point is an exact location, all right? The next word that we're talking about is a line. Y'all draw me what you think a line looks like. What does a line look like? A line. Okay? Yeah? So the thing about a line that people don't realize is a line, sit down, Lane, is endless.
I knew that.
So we think of a line as just a piece of something, and we'll talk about what a piece of a line is, but if you are just referring to a line, it is an endless, it is endless in both directions. It is a straight path. Take your finger in. Yeah. It's a straight path that goes in endless in both directions. All right? So that's a line. Next is a ray. Do you guys know what a ray is?
No.
Okay. Let me see
I
what you
don't.
think a ray
I'm
is.
only in first grade.
Okay. So Ray Hatch did this. It's not a ray. A ray is similar to a line, but it looks like this. A ray goes forever in one direction. Okay? Forever in one direction. So next is a line segment.
I
What
don't know
does
what
even that
is.
word segment mean?
I don't even know. A word straight.
A line is straight. Bless you. A line segment looks like this. It's a segment of it. It's a piece of a line. So a line segment does not go forever in both directions. It's a portion of a line. Okay? All right. Let's see if we can draw the next one.
I'm back.
So those are all kind of the points and lines. So now we're going to talk about kinds of lines. The first one is parallel. Sit down. So parallel lines, I always write the word parallel whenever I teach it. Parallel lines look like this. They look like your two L's. So what do you think that means parallel lines are like? They're kind of like L's because parallel lines never intersect. But you got to remember that parallel or lines go on forever. Okay? So put your boards down for a second. So this is where it gets important when we're in 5th grade and we're talking about different types of shapes. They might say that they're made up of parallel lines. You got to remember that lines go on forever. So, okay, Hatch, let's see what you got here. So, who drew this? Where are parallel lines at here on your shape?
Right here.
Okay.
And right here.
Good. These are parallel lines because they're going to go on forever and they're never going to intersect. Hold on.
But right here, they're gonna
Right.
cross.
Yep.
Which is
So those are not parallel lines. Good. One that we see, and we'll talk about shapes more this week, is this shape. Do y'all know what this is called?
A trapezoid?
A trapezoid. So a lot of people will say these lines are parallel. Do you think that's right, Hatch?
Yes. No. One way they are, but the other way it's
Right.
not. So
These
it's not
lines are parallel down here.
This one's parallel.
Even though we don't see it, we have to remember that lines go on forever. I know that's kind of far. So these are not parallel lines because eventually they are going to intersect. So that's important. So think about the two L's that are right next door to each other like that. Those are parallel lines, okay? So next are intersecting. Y'all maybe ride with your parents and they say you're at an intersection. Intersecting lines what? What do you think they do? They cross. And the thing with intersecting lines, yeah, just rub your hand on it, Hatch. Intersecting lines can look like a cross. Cool. They can look like an X. You know, you've ever gone down a road and it just goes to one side? Okay. Intersecting lines, the only thing they have to do is cross each other. It doesn't matter how or anything like that. But as we get, well, it wouldn't, okay. So this would not be a line though because it's not straight. Okay. Perpendicular lines are special because they have to make 90-degree angles.
No.
So 90-degree angles look like your special letter, Lainey. They look like an L. Okay?
Yeah. Special letter.
We can always think of a right angle as the letter L. Or when you're at school and you have a sheet of paper, hand me your paper, Lainey, you did earlier. The corner of your paper is always a right angle. Okay? Always.
I drew it.
So you've always got your paper to look at like that. But perpendicular lines have to make perpendicular lines have to make 90-degree angles. Now, some people think it can only look like the cross. And it does look like a cross a lot of times. But it can look like that at the bottom. Or we might see it like this. And we might think that's not 90 degrees, but if we will flip our book, we'll see it's still 90 degrees. Or if we see like this, because we know the lines go on forever, that is going to be perpendicular because it made right angles.
I did this.
Okay. Other angles we're going to talk about. So we talked about our 90-degree angle, which is called a right angle. Also, there is, so I'm going to draw one line. This is not straight, but it's called a straight angle. So a straight angle, if you can think of, you know, if you lift something up and you make your 90-degree angle, okay, this is your right angle, your 90-degree angle. If you were to open it all the way and it went back flat, that is a straight angle. So right here, this is 180 degrees, where this is 90 degrees.
I am a pirate in the sea.
And most of you have probably talked about other angles. So if an angle is smaller than 90, what do you think it is, Hatch? Have you ever heard of angles? You got any idea? Smaller than 90?
30?
So, yeah, so 30 would be considered smaller than 90. And they're called, so let's pretend that's 30. They're called acute. And I always say, oh, that's a cute little angle, a cute little angle. So
was I cute when I was a baby?
Mm-hmm. So that's,
excuse me.
so that's how we say something's less, use that. Because it's cute, a cute little angle, you know, we say how cute little things are, so we say that's an acute angle. Okay, if it's bigger than 90, but now straight angles, that's right, straight angle is 180. If it's bigger than 90, so if we say it opens up this big, bigger than 90, that's called obtuse. So you may have heard of the word obese, which means you're overweight. That's kind of what I think about with obtuse. It actually starts with an O. Obtuse means bigger than 90, but less than 180. So in 5th grade, we need to understand this because when we're looking at different shapes, 2D shapes, polygons, and we'll talk about that later this week, sometimes they're going to say this shape has 4 right angles, or this shape has 2 obtuse and 2 acute angles. We need to know what those words mean. Or it might say this shape has 1 pair of parallel lines or 2 pairs of parallel lines. So this is just our basic understanding of this stuff. Really quick lesson. If you can, draw some. Draw it on paper. Draw it on chalk outside. If you have a dry erase board, do that. Just practice making some lines and angles. Okay.
Bye.
Say bye.
And my brother is cuckoo.
Move, I can't see.
Told you he